Okay, picture this. You're just standing around, maybe scrolling on your phone, or maybe just chilling on the couch.
Uh-huh.
Or maybe you're blinking because something just flew past your face.
Yeah,
Or, hey, you just ate lunch and your body's, doing its thing.
right.
Did you know that in all those moments, your muscles are doing way more than just helping you, like, lift something heavy or run?
Absolutely. They're kind of the unsung heroes working constantly.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Doing complex work inside you, keeping everything running,
Uh-huh.
even helping you stay warm? It's pretty wild.
It is. We often only think about muscles when we're, trying to move our arms or legs, the
That's
voluntary stuff.
exactly.
But they're busy with vital functions all over the body, often without us giving them a single thought.
And that's what we're diving into today. We're looking at the foundational source material you shared about this incredible system.
Yeah, pulling out the key facts, looking for those surprising insights.
Right. Our mission is basically to unlock some cheat codes for understanding the powerhouse that is your own body,
So getting a handle on what muscles do, what they're made of, the different kinds.
how they move us, and yeah, even how they got some of those really, really weird names.
It's going to be relevant whether you're into sports or just curious why you cramp up sometimes.
Totally. Or just how you work. It's
Yeah.
all about how your body makes everything possible, from a tiny blink to a, full-on sprint.
So where should we start? The functions.
Let's do it.
Right.
What do muscles actually do? Like, beyond just moving our limbs around, what are their main jobs?
Okay, so the source highlights 6 main things, going beyond just obvious movement. First, and this is something we take for granted, posture.
Ah, holding us upright.
Exactly, holding the body upright, whether you're standing tall or sitting straight.
The anti-slouch muscles, that takes constant work, doesn't it? Quietly.
It does, precisely. Second, yeah, they make external movement possible. Walking, running, lifting, the stuff we see.
The obvious one.
Right. But then third, muscles are crucial for moving food through the digestive system.
Wait, really? Like, inside? I honestly had no idea my muscles were pushing my lunch along. That seems automatic.
It is smooth muscles, actually. They're in the walls of your digestive tract.
Wow.
They contract and relax in this wave. It's called peristalsis to keep everything moving. It's happening right now, totally involuntary.
Okay, mind blown a little bit there. What else?
Fourth, they generate body heat. This is why you shiver when you get cold.
Oh,
Your muscles are contracting really fast over and over, and that metabolic activity creates warmth.
that makes perfect sense.
Mhm.
Shivers are like mini workouts just to warm up. That's cool. What are the last two?
Fifth, they move fluids through ducts. Think tiny tubes carrying like bile from your liver or urine from your kidneys.
Okay, internal plumbing assistance.
Sort of. And sixth, they help move blood through veins, especially your skeletal muscles squeezing the veins to help blood get back to the heart.
So they're multitasking big time. Holding us up, moving us, digesting food, making heat, moving fluids.
Yep. Even when you're just chilling on the couch, your postural muscles are working, digestion might be happening.
Maybe shivering slightly if the AC is too high. It's all muscles working together.
It really is. Makes you appreciate the complexity behind just, sitting still.
Okay, so they do a ton.
Yeah.
Each time you take a step, 200 muscles work in unison to lift your foot, propel it forward, and set it down. It's just one of the many thousands of tasks performed by the muscular system. This network of over 650 muscles covers the body and is the reason we can blink, smile, run, jump, and stand upright. It's even responsible for the heart's dependable thump. First, what exactly is the muscular system? It's made up of 3 main muscle types: skeletal muscle, which attaches via tendons to our bones; cardiac muscle, which is only found in the heart; and smooth muscle, which lines the blood vessels and certain organs like the intestine and uterus. All 3 types are made up of muscle cells, also known as fibers, bundled tightly together. These bundles receive signals from the nervous system that contract the fibers, which in turn generates force and motion. This produces almost all the movements we make. Some of the only parts of the body whose motions aren't governed by the muscular system are sperm cells, the hair-like cilia in our airways, and certain white blood cells. Muscle contraction can be split into 3 main types. The first 2, shortening muscle fibers and lengthening them, generate opposing forces. So the biceps will shorten while the triceps will lengthen or relax, pulling up the arm and making it bend at the elbow. This allows us to, say, pick up a book, or if the muscle relationship is reversed, put it down. This complementary partnership exists throughout the muscular system. The third type of contraction creates a stabilizing force. In these cases, the muscle fibers don't change in length, but instead keep the muscles rigid. This allows us to grip a mug of coffee or lean against a wall. It also maintains our posture by holding us upright. Skeletal muscles form the bulk of the muscular system, make up about 30 to 40% of the body's weight, and generate most of its motion. Some muscles are familiar to us, like the pectorals and the biceps. Others may be less so, like the buccinator, a muscle that attaches your cheek to your teeth, or the body's tiniest skeletal muscle, a 1 millimeter long tissue fragment called the stapedius that's nestled deep inside the ear. Wherever they occur, skeletal muscles are connected to the somatic nervous system, which gives us almost complete control over their movements. This muscle group also contains two types of muscle fibers to refine our motions even further: slow twitch and fast twitch. Fast twitch fibers react instantly when triggered, but quickly use up their energy and tire out. Slow twitch fibers, on the other hand, are endurance cells. They react and use energy slowly so they can work for longer periods. A sprinter will accumulate more fast twitch muscles in her legs through continuous practice, enabling her to quickly, if briefly, pick up the pace. Whereas back muscles contain more slow twitch muscles to maintain your posture all day. Unlike the skeletal muscles, the body's cardiac and smooth muscles are managed by the autonomic nervous system, beyond our direct control. That makes your heart thump roughly 3 billion times over the course of your life, which supplies the body with blood and oxygen. Autonomic control also contracts and relaxes smooth muscle in a rhythmic cycle. That pumps blood through the smooth internal walls of blood vessels, enables the intestine to constrict and push food through the digestive system, and allows the uterus to contract when a person is giving birth. As muscles work, they also use energy and produce an important byproduct: heat. In fact, muscle provides about 85% of your warmth, which the heart and blood vessels then spread evenly across the body via the blood. Without that, we couldn't maintain the temperature necessary for our survival. The muscular system may be largely invisible to us, but it leaves its mark on almost everything we do, whether it's the blink of an eye or a race to the finish line.
Now let's get into the nitty-gritty. What are they actually made of? The structure.
Right. And first off, it's worth noting that the muscular and skeletal systems are so linked, they're often just called the musculoskeletal system.
Makes sense. Muscles need bones to pull on for movement, right?
Exactly. And get this, the source says the body has over 600 muscles.
600, wow.
And they make up like 40 to 45% of your body weight.
That's nearly half. Almost half your weight is just muscle. Okay, so what are the key building blocks then?
The material points out a few key terms. The basic units, the cells themselves, are muscle fibers, long, skinny cells that can contract.
Got it, the actual workers.
Pretty much. Then there's fascia. Think of it like biological cling wrap. It's connective tissue that wraps around individual muscles or groups of muscles.
Ah, okay, so when people talk about tight fascia or needing to foam roll, that's this stuff, this wrapping.
That's exactly it. If it gets tight or restricted, it can definitely affect how the muscle works.
Interesting. Okay, what's next?
Tendons. These are strong ropes, non-elastic connective tissue connecting muscle to bone.
Like the Achilles tendon, connecting the calf muscle to the heel.
Perfect example. The tendon transmits the muscle's pulling force to the bone, making it move.
Gotcha, strong connection points.
And finally, aponeurosis. It's similar to a tendon, also connective tissue, but it's more like a flat sheet.
A sheet rope, I like that.
Yeah. It connects muscles to bone or other muscles, sometimes covering a broad area.
Okay, so fibers do the work, fascia wraps it up, tendons and aponeuroses hook it all up to the bones.
Got it. And yeah, thinking about that fascia, feeling stiff, could be that stuff needs a good stretch.
It's all connected, working together to let you move. Right. And speaking of different parts, not all muscles are the same, are they? Like, you definitely can't just tell your heart to stop beating, thankfully.
That's a really crucial point. There are 3 main types: skeletal, smooth, and myocardial muscle.
Let's break those down. Skeletal first. That's the one people usually think of, right?
Yep. Skeletal muscles are attached to your bones. They're the ones you use for all voluntary movements, walking, lifting, waving, typing. You control these.
So arms, legs, face muscles, anything I decide to move.
Pretty much. Structurally, they're long, cylinder-shaped cells. And a key thing is they look striated.
Striated.
Like striped. Exactly. Under a microscope, they have these visible dark and light bands, like stripes.
Okay, striped muscles I can control. Got it. What about smooth muscle? Where are those guys?
Smooth muscles are found inside in the walls of your internal organs. Stomach, intestines, bladder, blood vessels.
Oh, back to the digestion thing.
Precisely. Their job is moving stuff through these internal tubes and controlling flow. And unlike skeletal muscle, they're involuntary.
Meaning we don't control them consciously.
Right. Your autonomic nervous system handles it automatically. You don't tell your stomach to digest or your blood vessels to squeeze.
Makes sense. And how do they look?
They're spindle-shaped and non-striated, no stripes. They're sometimes called visceral muscles, too, because they're in your viscera, your organs.
Okay, so skeletal, voluntary, striped, moves bones. Smooth. Involuntary, not striped, moves stuff inside. What's the third type?
That's myocardial muscle, also known as cardiac muscle. It's super special because it's only in the heart.
The heart muscle itself.
Yep. Like smooth muscle, it's involuntary. You don't have to remember to make your heart beat, thank goodness.
Yeah.
Structurally, it's cool. The cells are interwoven in spiral layers, which helps the heart pump really effectively. And interestingly, it is striated, like skeletal muscle.
So it's like a mix. Striped like skeletal, but involuntary like smooth. And only in the heart.
Exactly. It's perfectly designed for its job.
Wow. Definitely the MVP muscle, keeping you going every second.
Couldn't agree more. Each type is perfectly adapted.
Okay, so we know what they do, what they're made of, the different kinds. Now, how do they actually work? How do they make things move or hold tight? This is muscle contractions, right?
This is where the action happens. All the body's movements, tiny to huge, come down to how muscles contract, how they get the signal, and how they work together.
How do they get the signal? What tells them to contract?
That's muscle innervation. Basically, a nerve impulse travels from your brain down a motor nerve.
Like an electrical wire.
Yeah, pretty much. Carries the signal to the muscle fibers, telling them, contract. When the signal starts, they relax.
So brain sends command, nerve delivers, muscle acts. Simple enough.
That's the core idea. And if that nerve connection is broken, the muscle can't get the message. That's where paralysis comes from. The term neuromuscular just refers to that nerve-muscle link.
Makes total sense. That connection is critical. What about muscles working together? They don't work alone, do they?
No way. Most skeletal muscles work in groups, often as antagonistic pairs.
Meaning they oppose each other.
Exactly. One muscle does an action, the other does the opposite. When one contracts, the other usually has to relax to let the movement happen.
Like the biceps and triceps in your upper arm.
The classic example. To bend your elbow, your biceps contracts and pulls, while your triceps relaxes and lengthens.
And to straighten it, the triceps contracts and the biceps relaxes.
Precisely. It's like a biological pulley system. Super efficient.
One pulls, the other gives slack.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Now, the source also mentioned different types of contractions.
Yeah. 3 main types, depending on what the muscle's doing while it's working. Concentric, eccentric, and isometric.
Okay, let's break those down. Maybe everyone listening can try this too. Quick brain break.
Sounds good. Okay, concentric contraction. That's when the muscle shortens as it contracts, like lifting something.
All right, everyone, hold your arm out straight, palm up. Now, make a muscle. Bring your hand towards your shoulder, like a bicep curl.
Okay.
Feel that biceps bulge and shorten. That's concentric. You shorten the muscle to lift your forearm.
Perfect. Next, eccentric contraction. This is interesting. The muscle lengthens while it's still contracting, under tension, like lowering a weight slowly.
Okay, so from that curl, slowly lower your hand back down. Resist gravity. Feel your biceps still working, controlling it but getting longer.
That's eccentric. You're controlling the release.
This is often where you feel sore later, right? That lengthening under load.
Exactly. Eccentric work is key for control and stability. And finally, isometric contraction. Iso means same. Metric means length.
So same length. The muscle contracts but doesn't change length.
Right. It generates force, but there's no movement at the joint.
Okay, hold your arm out straight again. Now just tighten your biceps and triceps really hard, keeping the arm locked in place. Feel the tension.
Yep.
But your arm isn't moving. That's isometric. Or think about holding a plank. Your core muscles are firing, but not changing length much.
Great example. So Concentric, shortening, eccentric, lengthening under tension, isometric, same length. Those three cover the basics of how muscles exert force.
Awesome.
Muscles. We have over 600 of them. They make up between 1/3 and 1/2 of our body weight. And along with connective tissue, they bind us together, hold us up, and help us move. And whether or not bodybuilding is your hobby, muscles need your constant attention because the way you treat them on a daily basis determines whether they will wither or grow. Say you're standing in front of a door, ready to pull it open. Your brain and muscles are perfectly poised to help you achieve this goal. First, your brain sends a signal to motor neurons inside your arm. When they receive this message, they fire, causing muscles to contract and relax, which pull on the bones in your arm and generate the needed movement. The bigger the challenge becomes, the bigger the brain's signal grows, and the more motor units it rallies to help you achieve your task. But what if the door is made of solid iron? At this point, your arm muscles alone won't be able to generate enough tension to pull it open, so your brain appeals to other muscles for help. You plant your feet, tighten your belly, and tense your back, generating enough force to yank it open. Your nervous system has just leveraged the resources you already have, other muscles, to meet the demand. While all this is happening, your muscle fibers undergo another kind of cellular change. As you expose them to stress, they experience microscopic damage, which in this context is a good thing. In response, the injured cells release inflammatory molecules called cytokines that activate the immune system to repair the injury. This is when the muscle-building magic happens. The greater the damage to the muscle tissue, the more your body will need to repair itself. The resulting cycle of damage and repair eventually makes muscles bigger and stronger as they adapt to progressively greater demands. Since our bodies have already adapted to most everyday activities, those generally don't produce enough stress to stimulate new muscle growth. So to build new muscle, a process called hypertrophy, our cells need to be exposed to higher workloads than they are used to. In fact, if you don't continuously expose your muscles to some resistance, they will shrink, a process known as muscular atrophy. In contrast, exposing the muscle to a high degree of tension, especially while the muscle is lengthening, also called an eccentric contraction, generates effective conditions for new growth. However, muscles rely on more than just activity to grow. Without proper nutrition, hormones, and rest, your body would never be able to repair damaged muscle fibers. Protein in our diet preserves muscle mass by providing the building blocks for new tissue in the form of amino acids. Adequate protein intake, along with naturally occurring hormones like insulin-like growth factor and testosterone, help shift the body into a state where tissue is repaired and grown. This vital repair process mainly occurs when we're resting, especially at night while sleeping. Gender and age affect this repair mechanism, which is why young men with more testosterone have a leg up in the muscle-building game. Genetic factors also play a role in one's ability to grow muscle. Some people have more robust immune reactions to muscle damage and are better able to repair and replace damaged muscle fibers, increasing their muscle-building potential. The body responds to the demands you place on it. If you tear your muscles up, eat right, rest, and repeat, you'll create the conditions to make your muscles as big and strong as possible. It is with muscles as it is with life. Meaningful growth requires challenge and stress.
Okay, we know how they contract. Now let's talk about all the cool moves they let us do, the actual motions.
Right, this section is about the specific ways our joints can move, usually described in pairs of opposites. Knowing these terms helps describe movement accurately.
Lay 'em on us. What are the big pairs?
First, abduction versus adduction. Abduction is moving a limb away from the midline of your body. Think abduct, take away.
Okay.
Adduction is moving it towards the midline. Think add it back to the body.
So lifting your arm out to the side is abduction, like starting a jumping jack.
Exact.
And bringing it back down to your side is abduction. Got it. Next.
Flexion versus extension. Flexion means bending, decreasing the angle at a joint. Extension means straightening, increasing the angle.
Easy. Bending your elbow is flexion, straightening it is extension. Bending your knee,
No.
flexion, straightening it, extension.
Precisely. Then, rotation and circumduction. Rotation is turning around a central axis, like turning your head side to side. Yep. Circumduction is making a circle with the end of a limb, like drawing a big circle in the air with your whole arm from the shoulder. The limb itself makes a cone shape.
So rotation is spinning in place, circumduction is making a big circle.
Got it. Try it, listener. Make some arm circles.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Next pair. Supination and pronation usually refers to the forearm.
Ah, supine.
That's the one. Supination is turning the palm forward or up like you could hold a bowl of soup.
Palm up for soup. Supination.
And pronation is turning the palm backward or down.
Palm down, like when you're typing or dribbling. Pronation, easy mnemonic.
It works. Moving down to the ankle, dorsiflexion and plantar flexion.
Foot movements.
Right. Dorsiflexion is pulling your foot upwards towards your shin.
Toes towards the knee.
Plantar flexion is pointing your foot downwards, like pressing a gas pedal or standing on tiptoes.
Plantar flexion, planting your foot down, or pointing. Got it. Try these two, everyone. Flex your foot up and down.
And the last pair, also at the foot, inversion and eversion. This is about the sole of the foot.
Inversion is turning the sole of the foot inward, towards the other foot. Eversion is turning the sole outward, away from the other foot.
Okay, let me try that. Sitting down. Turn the bottom of my foot inwards. Inversion. Turn it outwards. Eversion. Got it. These pairs cover a lot of ground.
They really do. It's the fundamental vocabulary for describing how we move.
All right, deep divers. Final section. Ever wonder about those crazy muscle names?
Yeah.
Like sternocleidomastoid. Seriously.
Yeah, it sounds like a mouthful.
Turns out there's actually a logic behind most of them. It's not just random jargon. Let's figure out how they get these names.
It's true. They're usually named based on specific characteristics, location, shape, size, function. It's like a built-in description.
Okay, what are the main ways?
First, based on origin and insertion. Remember those attachment points. Origin is the less movable end. Insertion is the more movable end.
Right. And the example was that crazy neck muscle, sternocleidomastoid.
Exactly. Its name tells you where it attaches. Sterno for sternum, breastbone. Cleido for clavicle, collarbone. That's the origin. And it inserts on the mastoid process of the skull behind your ear.
No way. So the name is literally a map. Sternum clavicle to mastoid. That actually makes sense. Less scary now.
It does, right? Muscles are also named for their action, what they do.
Like the movements we just talked about.
Yep. So you have flexors, extensors, abductors, adductors. The name tells you its main job.
Oh, okay. So the flexor carpi radialis flexes something.
Exactly. It flexes the carpus, wrist, and it's on the radial thumb side. Name tells you function and location.
Location is another big one then.
Definitely. Muscles named for the body part. Oral, mouth, brachial, arm, pectoral, chest, gluteus, buttocks. Pretty straightforward.
Pectoralis, major muscle of the pectoral region, the chest. Makes sense.
Fiber direction is another, how the fibers run. Oblique means slanted. Rectus means straight, usually up and down. Sphincter means circular. Transverse means across.
And the example was rectus femoris.
Yeah, one of the quad muscles. Rectus means straight. Femoris means on the femur, thigh bone. It runs straight down the thigh.
Okay, what else? Number of divisions?
Or heads, yeah. How many origin points it has. This gives us biceps for 2 heads.
Bidines 2.
Triceps for 3 heads.
Tridines 3.
And quadriceps for 4 heads, like the biceps brachii in your arm has 2 heads.
Simple rule. Biceps, triceps, quadriceps tells you how many starting points. Cool?
Size is also used. Maximus for largest, medius for medium, minimus for smallest. Or major for bigger, minor for smaller, compared to nearby muscles.
Gluteus maximus, the biggest glute muscle, named for its size.
Exactly. And finally, shape. Deltoid means triangle-shaped, like your shoulder muscle.
Right.
Quadratus means square. Latissimus means broad or wide. Teres means round. Trapezius looks like a trapezoid. Orbicularis means circular. Serratus means sawtoothed.
Wow, so many shape names. Like quadratus lumborum, square muscle on the low back. Okay, so most names follow logical rules.
They do, mostly based on Latin Greek roots describing these features.
But then, the source mentions muscles, named for strange reasons.
This sounds fun.
Huh. Yeah, these are the quirky ones, not based on strict anatomy rules, like hamstrings.
Yeah, why hamstrings? Sounds like ham.
Well, the source says it's because butchers use the tendons of these thigh muscles, the strings, to hang hams, like pig legs.
Wait, seriously, they're named after butcher hooks for hanging pork. That is Wow. Gnarly, but kind of hilarious.
Apparently so. Then there's the sartorius muscle, that long, thin one down the thigh, named from the Latin for tailor.
A tailor? Why?
Because it's the muscle you use to cross your legs, like tailors used to sit while sewing.
Oh, that's awesome. The tailor muscle. Sartorius. I'll remember that one.
The gastrocnemius, your main calf muscle, means belly of the leg in Greek. Pretty descriptive shape.
Calf belly. Okay.
Soleus underneath it, from the Latin for sandal because it's flat, and platysma, thin neck muscle, from Greek for plate.
Those strange reasons are actually great. Hamstrings for hanging pigs, sartorius for tailors. Makes anatomy way more memorable.
They definitely add some color. Well, that was an amazing deep dive. We covered so much ground on the muscular system.
Yeah, from all the jobs they do, posture, heat, digestion, movement.
To what they're made of, fibers, fascia, tendons.
The 3 types. Skeletal, smooth, cardiac. Each doing its vital thing.
How they contract and how nerves control them.
And all those specific movements, abduction, flexion, rotation.
And finally cracking the code on those wild names. From the logical ones to the butcher-related ones.
It really gives you an appreciation for the system.
Absolutely. Understanding this helps you understand your own body's power and resilience, whether you're an athlete or just, living your life.
It highlights the incredible engineering inside us, from the microscopic level up.
So here's something to think about. Next time you stand up or blink or feel your heart beating, just pause for a sec. Think about all those unbelievably complex muscle actions happening, coordinated, mostly without you even noticing. It really makes you appreciate just how amazing and constantly working your body is, doesn't it?